Have some feedback from last week, and an important one I want to start with. Cody Holmquist is reminding everyone, R.I.P. Scott Hall. Can't believe it's been 3 years.
Ugh. You know what? It was one of those deals where, you know, when you wake up, so it's March 14th, I'm like, ugh. And then because people give a shit, they care, they know, they send you messages. I know it's a hard day for you. I know and you know what? My first 14 messages reminding me that my buddy's dead, fucking, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, ugh. And then I think I posted something at the end of the day on Twitter just because I just didn't want to not post something. But, like, I, I read some of the comments and they're like, you guys should have been better friends. If you all would have found Jesus, uh, he would be alive now. And I'm like, okay, number one, Scott found Jesus.
Mm.
Scott prayed before every meal he ever ate for the last 10 years I knew him. So I'm sorry, whoever you are that I just blocked, because I'm not going to answer people like that. I just block them because I watched this thing the other day and it was a woman, a blonde haired woman. She's in a red shirt. I wish I would have got her name because it was so poignant. And she was just saying, like, and it was about reproduction rights. And she was like, if you're Christian and you don't want to get an abortion, then and you believe and God tells you not to do that, then I'm absolutely fine with that. She says, but you have to realize, she goes, I don't believe in it. I don't believe in your beliefs. So I should be able to live by my fucking standards. So don't push your standards on me. And it's just like this guy. You don't know what my beliefs are, but you do have to realize that no matter how much time we spend together, whether it's the whole weekend together, we still go home, and for 4 days, he's 250, 280 miles away from me. And in the case when his last, where he lived, he was 465 miles away from me.
Kev, you don't have to explain
No, I, but
because it's ridiculous.
it's just that people, it's just like, it's not bad enough that you lose your best fucking friend on earth, a person that you spent more time with than anyone else on this planet. It's not bad enough. It's just that some suck ass with 9 followers thinks he actually has the right to fucking tell us, and it was pointed at me and Sean Waltman. And it's one of those things where, like I've always said, you can be bounce at a bar, and 50 guys walk by you and fucking say fuck you, and then just that 51st guy comes by and just says it the wrong way, and that's the one you fucking mop up the fucking parking lot with. And it was just one of those things where, just like, and another one, he said, uh, you should be ashamed of yourself. Dallas Page did more for Scott than you did. I'm like, okay,
People don't know.
absolutely.
People don't know what you've done for
No, they don't
people.
know
I
shit.
know
They don't
stories
know
of what you've
fucking.
done for your
They
friends,
don't know.
flying to other countries to
They
bring
know.
them to
They know.
rehabs, and
They know nothing, and it's just like, it's the same as, you won't see my name next to some fucking charity that where I put money. It always, everything we put, my wife and I, everything we donate to charity goes through our company name. And we're not I'm not I don't do anything to get a pat on the back. It's like, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, it's been 3 years, and one of the reasons I'm going out tomorrow on the road to do autographs is I have to move forward because he's not going to be with me. And that was the thing. It's like I used to love, people would say, don't you get tired of doing these? You don't need the money. Why are you doing it? Why do you do these? I'm like, because I get to fucking spend the weekend with fucking Scott and Kid. Like and Sean's kind of overdoing them. I mean, we'll see each other in Vegas and spend a couple of days together. I know we'll have a nice meal, but it's like it was just different with Scott.
Yeah. Regarding Scott, I have a hard question for you. It's one that, we'll put it out here. We always put everything out here. I'm considering a book. I'm writing three at the same time right now. So down the road, I'm considering a book, which is a little different from what I do. But I came across this concept and I wondered how many people would I have to ask this question to before a reader or myself had some commentary on how to live our lives today. If you had 5 minutes with someone you loved that you lost today, what would you do with the 5 minutes? Would you say something? Would you go somewhere? Would you just sit and hold them? What would just those last 5 minutes again be? Take Scott. I think the others that I could ask you about would be too painful. But not that Scott isn't, but it's different.
God, with Scott,
Yeah.
I mean, all I'd want to do is just say, just we always just it was always it was we just picked up where we left off. So it would just be, I'd be like, so what you been doing the last 3 years? You know, is it cool? Like, am I going to see my kid? Like, I'm sure that would be my biggest thing. Like, like, are you good?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was,
Is there anything you didn't say
fuck
that would
no.
have gotten you?
Fuck no. There's nothing with, not me and Scott. No. He knew I loved him. I know he loved me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's, that's everybody. I don't, I'm not like a super, touchy feely kind of guy. But
Mm-hmm.
I always tell people like I kissed every night. I went in and kissed my son goodnight, and when I went on the road, I kissed him goodbye. You know, I didn't kiss Scott, but we always hugged.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it wasn't like bullshit hug. Like we embraced because we knew when we were getting older that there was always going to be that chance.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time when he was really on a bender, and we were someplace, and I had this new black suit on, and he said to me, he goes, "Is that new?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "I bought it for you because of you." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You were on such a fucking bender." I said, "I thought I was going to have to go to a funeral." He goes, "Man, that's fucked up." I said, "Yeah, I know it is." I said, "Be me."
Mm-hmm.
I said, "Be me." I said, every fucking day I'm seeing you, and I'm telling you, man, like I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you. I'm worried about you. And it's just like, and people think that you can stop people from doing shit. You can't stop. Sooner or later, Kevin Nash is going to fall asleep, and whoever I'm watching over is going to wake me out because that's what addicts do. So
when Scott was, COVID was a bad time
That was
for
that was
Scott.
that was fucking isolation was the worst thing for Scott because Scott's number one fucking medicine was laughter.
Mm.
And we'd laugh like fuck, man. We would still get on the phone and laugh. But if he had a buzz, he wasn't going to pick his phone up because he wasn't going to fucking be chastised.
Were you able to keep consistent contact with him when we were all
COVID
separated
was
for that
hard.
year?
No, COVID was hard. Dallas, it was even hard for Dallas, and Dallas lived fucking, you know, like Dallas would go by and Scott wouldn't let him in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was he in Tampa?
No, they
Where
were in
was Scott?
Atlanta.
Oh, in Atlanta, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's and then when Scott passed, Dally was, you know, the three of us have always had, because basically Dallas, brought Scott's manager. Dallas brought him into WCW, and then Dallas and I had already like the three of us kind of had like an intertwined thing going for forever, and we always did. That's why when it was time to for somebody to get to the NWO, it was just like it had to be Dallas because we both owed him because
Mm.
I was gonna quit. He talked me into not quitting, and he puts Scott. He put the Razor gimmick together for Scott. So we both felt that we owed Dally when it was time to.
Hmm.
And even he was. I mean, it wasn't even because we owed it to him. It was because Eric was so tight with Dallas that he didn't want to, like, in any form or fashion, show a degree of nepotism, and it was killing Dallas because Dallas was the person that was getting the response at that time.
Mm.
So we had to basically say, "Yo, motherfucker!" Like I remember we were at a Marriott. I think we were at UT Chattanooga was the where we did the Nitro from, and Dallas had a diamond cutter, and they showed it in slow motion. As he hooked it and went with it, the whole side of the building just exploded at one time, just up. And I said to him, I said, dude, I said, like you're killing this guy.
It's like when you're the coach of your kid's team
Yeah.
and you don't want to always have to put
I'm
him
sure.
in crucial
I'm sure. I'm
situations.
sure. Press Maravich felt that way when he had
Oh,
Pete as.
Pistols,
Yeah,
Pistols.
Pistol's dad was
I
his
didn't know this.
coach.
Was he his coach?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Press Maravich. Yeah.
With Scott, take COVID out of the equation. What chance would you have given him for coming out the other side? Like you
No,
all
without
did.
COVID, he was fine. I mean, he was fine. He didn't have. He was doing good. Like that. That was. You couldn't have fucking put a
For,
worse scenario together than COVID.
for him, that was his death sentence. Yeah.
Yeah, because it put him in his two-bedroom. It had him, and he was super uh, like germaphobe on it. He did not want to catch it, so he was like he wasn't going anywhere. He was ordering like he would have people like bring food, bring groceries. He completely just became Howard Hughes.
He was living alone.
Yes,
Who was nearest to him that could check on him, could bring
Dallas.
food? That was it. It was Dallas.
Dallas was the only one that was close to
Where
him.
was his? Where did his son live?
At that time, where was Cody? Cody, I think, was living. I don't know where Cody was then.
His ex-wife was already out of the picture
Yeah.
yeah.
But that would, that's so. When you think about COVID, man, like you're talking about brain fog. I mean, I remember it, but I don't. I do remember, man, that even myself, like, man, I drank. You know.
Talked about the workout you used to get bringing the recycling out every week.
Oh, gee, I used to take the recycle out, man. I was like, I put the fucking Hogan belt on, put the weightlifting belt on to take the recycle out.
Did a fingernail spot and then took the wine
And the
bottles
thing
out.
was, it wasn't like I wasn't, for a while there, and then finally I got a key to the gym. It wasn't too bad for me. It was probably about 4 months of but it was just you lived in sweatpants.
Mm.
So you didn't realize that you were getting fucking putting on that 10, 15 pounds of COVID weight. And then all of a sudden, man, I was just like, hey, you want to go do, they're opening shit back up. You want to go do perseverance. You got to put some jeans on. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You're like the girl, laying on the bed, fucking trying to button the pants over your derby. So,
Well,
mm,
so raise a glass to Scott. Three
yeah,
years, and
miss you, my fucking partner.
yeah, yeah. I saw this graphic that popped up. Speaking of wrestlers that have left us, you realize the whole fucking Heenan family's gone, including Bobby.
Mm,
I mean, I intellectually I knew this, but I saw this
yeah,
graphic. I was like, holy shit! And
I saw
not
a thing.
old.
No, I saw a thing the other day. It was a match, and that when Scott first went up to WWE, it was Flair, Heenan, or Flair, Henning, Randy, and Scott,
Mm-hmm.
and Rick was the only one alive.
Yeah. We're at a point now where you can put on some of these like what was it, Survivor Series matches from the '80s where there's like 8 guys in the ring, and not one of them is with us anymore,
No, it's
and very prematurely.
yeah, and it's one of those things too where like you'll see one of those things come across on Instagram, and they'll say, and you forget how young these guys were. 41, 38. You're like, holy fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how am I 65? And then
You
you
said to
realize
me
how
on an interview a
long.
long time ago. You said to me we were doing an interview, and you said, "There's no 60-year-old Nashes."
Nope. There's two now.
Yeah,
Three. Me, my brother, and sister.
yeah. Salute.
Yeah.